Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Welcome to Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now.
Okay, my friends, pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Those of you who are having your lunch break at this point in time, I want to welcome you to my program, Hardfacts, that is aired on Sentinel Media Broadcasting, Monday, Wednesday, and Saturday, starting time 12:15 in the afternoon. So again, my friends, those of you who are having your lunch break, maybe you are working in a private sector, just remember that your lunch break is approximately 1 hour long. And this program has been designed for you, those persons who take lunch maybe 12:15 to 1:15. You have an opportunity to have dialogue with me on this program, identifying maybe some of the challenges that is plaguing you, plaguing your families at this point in time, whether it be at home, whether it be abroad, whether it be in the CARICOM Islands, wherever you may be. This program is your program, my friends, and we invite you all to stay tuned. Really and truly, there's going to be a lot of things that I'm going to discuss here in the program. And one of those most important aspect of our program here today would be crime. Very, very important. Crime is on the front burner. And I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, crime doesn't only mean murder. A lot of people today, we tend to believe that criminals are people who commit heinous crime like murder, rape, and robbery. That is what they classify crime as. But I tell you something, there are different calibre. For example, you hear people saying blue-collar crime. You hear people saying white-collar crime. How do we identify, how do we understand these things? So today, my friends, in the program Hardfacts, I want to encourage you all, 372-2129. That's the number that you can reach me. That's a number that you can really and truly is a lifeline, where you can identify whatever situation that is prevailing and you would like us to air, it on this program. Feel free to call us, because I'm telling you, there are many persons, especially persons who are up on the political platform on this program. They are on the list, and they sometimes, I'm sure, that they listen to our program. Sometimes I'm sure that their personnel or those persons who are working on behalf of those individuals, maybe information is being shared upon them. Because I tell you something, about a month back, just about after the election was won, right? I mentioned something on the program. And I said, what I said is that ministers should have a day where the burgesses or the constituency individuals of different constituencies can go and have dialogue with the ministers, especially those persons in the constituencies where agriculture, where flooding and all those anomalies really and truly occurs yearly, right? So lo and behold, I saw the Honorable Ravi Ratiram, Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture, the Honorable Saddam Hussein, who is also a Minister in the Ministry of Agriculture. They are having that very said thing. They had it in Sangre Grande. And I'm calling on all, I'm not talking about only the Minister of Agriculture, I'm talking about all the ministers in government, right? And you could go wherever you want, but as I tell you, the program should be geared as the mandate, as the manifesto that outlined that if the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and her government wins the election, everybody wins. We should not be following the emblem of the PNM. Okay, we should not be doing that, because I tell you something, you and I know south of the Caroni Bridge was not really and truly anything integral in their planning stages for programs to be developed in those areas, right? Because I tell you something, in my area, Central Trinidad, that is Shogunas West, you're going to realize I've been lamenting, I've been crying, I've been calling. I even mentioned this to the Prime Minister of Trinidad and Tobago, the Honorable Dr. Keith Christopher Rowley, and I mentioned it on this program, that, you know, when Kamala was in government, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa, Prime Minister at that time, she built a health facility in Karanaj, which would have been the constituency of the then President and Prime Minister. She also built a fishing jetty in the very said area. So I challenged him and I said to him, I said, look, you want to do something for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, because I tell you something, when you look at Central Trinidad, namely Felicity area, there's approximately 500 boats in a jetty, in maybe not one, but 3 or 4 different boat yards. And if you look at the condition, Director, you remember the condition of the boat yard, I would like you to pull it up for me. And I want Trinidad and Tobago to understand how we in this area are neglected. This area is totally neglected, where fishermen has reached to that point where they have to go and gather old tires, fill it with rubbles, and put it to make, you know what, to make something like a platform so that they can be able to launch their boats. That is how deplorable, and I do hope and pray in this 5-year, 10-year. This is not, we're not pressuring anyone. But I tell you something, this area has been really and truly, for the past 10 years, have been left to the dogs, or to the cleaners, if you want to put it like that. No type of improvement work were done, with the exception of Avinash Singh and Minister Kazim Hussain. They were trying to set up. Look at the dilapidated condition. This is what you classify as a boatyard. And you see, just as adjacent, those of you who are looking on, just adjacent, you are seeing a cremation taking place. A cremation is taking place presently. And that is the type of condition. Sometimes when there's a big funeral taking place, the boatyard, they work with tide. If you all don't know, they work with the rising and the falling of tide. And if they plan to go, the tide has to be high for them to use the terrain, that river there. Because my friends, if they go out and they get stuck with low tide, you know what is going to happen? The chances are they're not going to reach the ocean. Right? So this is things that we have to understand. This is the condition. This is the condition that we are lamenting. And this has not been done by the United National Congress. This has been done by the PNM and their neglect, and they're not understanding the plight that they were government for the people of Trinidad and Tobago, and not for a certain sect or a certain group of people or a certain cadastral of people. They should have understood this. And that's the reason, you know, if, I'm telling you, if they were really and truly understanding the plights of the people, they would not have gotten that type of blows. They would have not gotten that type of blows with that election result. Because it clearly shows that they were not knowing for a fact that, and we were saying it on the program, we were identifying because most of the work was done elsewhere. Right? But we were wrong. We were totally in error. Because we were saying that, you know, they were treating certain areas, but they were not doing that even. They were not even doing that. Hence the result for the election, it turned tipsy-turvy when people who were supposed to be voting for the PNM, they end up voting for the United National Congress, because they realize the United National Congress is the only government really and truly who service and who give and who assist the whole of the country. So much so, I tell you something, and I'm being real here. And I'm being very, very real here. It's no cartoon. This is a real show. right? And I'm telling you this, my friends, sometimes people would say that, Kamala Prasad Bisesa, her government, they really and truly took care of the other areas and they neglect our area. And I would not like to really and truly highlight that in the future. So we have 5 years. Maybe the money is not flowing at this point in time. But I tell you something, in our program today, we're going to talk about the monies. I'm going to call on businessmen in our country, businessmen who have containers, right? Who have containers on the port, number one, who cannot get their containers cleared. It is not for foreign land. This is not a foreign land. This is Trinidad and Tobago. The containers have already landed at port. Why it is that it is taken 3 to 4 weeks in many cases to clear those containers. And we are in the middle of the year. We are not in November, December. These things have to be put in place. And whoever is going on state boards, we're going to talk about that here today. Whoever is going on state boards, not because you know Kamala or you know a minister or you have a friend in government or you have people connection and you're going to... Really and truly, that is politics, whether we like it or not. That is politics. Somebody has to know somebody, and that somebody will pull a string, and you will get a director position, or you're going to get some kind of contract, or you're going to get something, right? And everybody who follow the election campaign, they didn't go there by guess. Maybe a 10% of the people really and truly went there with the correct intention. That is to serve the country. But the other 90%, I can say I am in the 90%. I'm not saying I am only 10, I am in the 90% who gave my all. I gave my all and would have expected something and still anticipating. And many people are like myself because we put out. We invested in the party and we would like, at some point in time, our names are called to receive some sort of booty, if you want to call it. Right? But again, we're taking the time. It is only about a month and 2 weeks, going in 2 weeks now. And we are watching the play. We are watching the movements. And we are seeing people, I'm telling you this. We are seeing people, I am there, I am on the ground floor. There are many activists like myself who really and truly looking on. We're not fighting anybody. Whether we get or we ain't get, that wouldn't change the price of oil. But the point here is that you serve your country. And you have to be appreciated by your country, not a foreign land. Right? So we're going to talk about those things. So I'm inviting you all. And I just touching base again. Last week there was a big story on the newspaper where people were saying that the Indian Arrival Day should be changed to Hindu Arrival Day. And from the first instance in our program, that would have been on Saturday show, on Saturday last week, and on this week Saturday, I mentioned the very, very sad thing. That if the Hindu community, and director, maybe you could pull up that video, if the Hindu community has, there has their culture embedded in certain rituals, whether it be singing, whether it be dancing, and they consider that to be their culture from India, and that is something that they use as a medium of remembrance and remembering their family and their ancestors, I don't see anything wrong with that. And they were saying this at the Islamic community, even so much so the Christian community, it clearly indicates that they are not being favored. They are not being favored. And I want to say something to you all. And pull back that video. That gentleman there, Mr. Zainul Ali, the Prime Minister, and have designated a lot of ministers to go to Nelson Island. They had their Indian Arrival Day show or program. And my friends, you won't believe this, there were different segments of society. When it comes to religious persuasions, you're going to watch that photo, leave that photo a little bit there. But again, you would realize that there were ministers, there were individuals who are Christians, there were persons of different identity. Right? So I'm telling you all something, my friends, on that very sad note, the Ummah TNT, the Islamic lobby group, that is an independent lobby group for the Muslims in our country, where there is approximately 14 different organizations, is part and parcel of it. We are hosting an Eid dinner and also commemorating the Indian Arrival Day at the Felicity venue. That is the IFSC dinner, 2025 venue, Felicity Banquet Hall. The director needs to change the HAUL, right? On Sunday, the 22nd of June, starting time 3 p.m. at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity. Tickets are available. Now, we just doing about 250 tickets. Thus far, about 125 tickets have already been sold. Right? And again, when you calculate, maybe there are going to be some special guests who are going to be invited, special guests, maybe in the precinct of 20. So we're talking about, we just have about 75 tickets to be sold again. And I'm giving you an idea. The tickets is valued at $150. But what we are doing, if you have a family of 4, you could pay $500 and get 4 tickets. Right? So it's not a matter of discount or anything like that. We want nobody to leave their children home unattended. Maybe mommy and daddy and 2 kids. Maybe if you would like another person to come, we don't have a problem. Once you could be able to really, if it's younger children, you could be able to control them so that they wouldn't be running on the floor, running up and down, being unattended. That's the reason why, we ask you all, those of you who are patronizing, we have no problem with you bringing your children. None whatsoever. And the very said policy I use in my masjid is this. Anybody, the children, the young children, they are the flag bearers of our Islam in this country. And even so much in the temple, in the churches, you keep your young children, don't leave them at home, because when you leave them at home, they are going on TV, they're going on YouTube, they're going on TikTok, they're going on Facebook. And let me tell you something, you know what they get in there? You know what kind of indoctrination they get in there? Left to be desired. Waste of time. Very few contribution on Facebook, my friends, is really and truly available for the eyes of John public. Everything otherwise, 75 to 90% is total nudity. Everybody put in a video, they advertising like they process, like they're in a process market, and they advertising their limbs and this, that, the next. I don't want to go down that road, but the point I'm making, Trinidad and Tobago, you all, this country needs to be saved. Our country has gone down to the abysses. We have gone down to the lowest low at this point in time. We don't have money to run this country. You and I know that. The past government left the country with $150 billion in deficits, owing. The country now, Kamala Prasad don't have that money. The ministers don't have that money. So they have to find that money elsewhere to be able to revamp the economy, to be able to identify, to be able to put things in place. And you know what is hurting me? Trinidad and Tobago, and I want to be real here. You know what is hurting me, Trinidad and Tobago? There are people in our country who are businessmen and women, and they would like to bring in something to do trade in this country. And when they go to the bank, they have credit card, and they get in, you know what they get in? They get in $200 in their credit card. They get in $500 in their credit card. They get in $5,000 maximum. Maybe it's a big conglomerate if you know somebody. But basically, it would have been about $1,000 to $2,000 they get in a credit card. And let me tell you something. What transpired last week, it's good for the people of Trinidad and Tobago. It's good. Let's stay quiet. For 2 hours singing and dancing and gyrating on a stage and wasting people's time, public time. Because what you're going to listen to, and you know what? It costs the country. It costs the country, because let me tell you something, 935, this is what is on the Facebook. This is what's in national media. $935,000 US was paid to Vibes Cartel. And as I say, it is an assumption. It could be wrong, it could be right. You understand? It is alleged that these monies are paid, and I want to reiterate, it is alleged that these monies were paid. Approximately $950,000 US was paid by the promoter. I want to ask a question here. Where did the promoter get that money from? Because knowing for a fact, you and I, we have to make 101 visit to the bank to collect what? To collect $200 and $300. TTPS launched probe into cartel US $950,000 payment. Now that means to say that money was paid. Now that is something I just hope and pray that Roger Alexander and the Commissioner of Police, after a period of time when they feel that the Trinidadian mind become weak and docile, and we become stupid, and we don't really and truly care about nothing, we're going to raise that issue abundantly on this show. Right? We are saying this, my friends. We are saying this. The country is right now starving for US dollars, and a man come in here to perform for maybe 2 hours, 3 hours, and you can't even understand anything. Maybe it is the hobby of some, but it is not the hobby of mine, and not the hobby of the multitude of people in our country. And you pay, and you know the hard part about it? 935, as was alleged, right? And nobody riot, nobody say anything. One woman going on a stage, maybe push down 2 bucks or 2 amplifier or 2 projectors or whatever, and that is costing the person who, the sound system manager or whatever, maybe $60,000, $70,000, $80,000. But the point I am making, that is under the carpet for certain people, but not me. $950,000 is big money in US dollars to pay for one artist. And that would not be only one artist coming from abroad. What about the others? So Trinidad and Tobago, 372-2129. Call me and let's have dialogue. Don't stay quiet. Don't remain silent. You have an opportunity. And hear me good. I want you all to understand this program. This program is not to malign the character of no one. I am not here to debase no one. Because I told you all, some of us, we look at the toothpick in a man's eye and we don't look at the log in our own eyes. That is not me. I am not watching you. I would always say this. Maybe you are better than me. Maybe your character and your conduct is better than me. I am only striving. Maybe I am erring. I'm making a lot of mistakes. But again, my intention is good. So director, let's take our first break, and when we come back, we're going to dive into this. And I ask you all, 372-2129. And those of you who would like to call us and maybe identify pertaining to the Arrival Day celebration that took place in Nelson Island, and maybe you would like people to understand really and truly it was multicultural, multi-religious. It was a beautiful, a day well spent. Feel free to call me, 372-2129. Let's take a break.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, because we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Welcome to Felicity Banquet Hall, where unforgettable memories are made. Whether you're planning a wedding, birthday party, corporate meeting, or any special gathering. Why choose us? We are spacious, elegant, and fully air-conditioned hall. Customizable seating for up to 200 guests. Beautiful decor and lighting options. On-site kitchen and catering services. We are available 7 days a week. Located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity Shogunas. Call the number on the screen today and book now.
Okay, my friends, special good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago. Those of you who are locked on. Those of you having your lunch break, I told you all this, sometimes yesterday food, it really and truly, the food that your mother cook, your mom cook at home, or your wife cook yesterday evening, and you have to warm it up today, put it in that microwave, and maybe eat some nice rice and maybe some stew chicken or some curry fish with a piece of mango at the side, nothing wrong. That's sometimes, it is really and truly a blessing in disguise, because many people outside there, you're going to see them run into the food cart. Nothing is wrong with that also. Maybe some people are buying, you might be fortunate, you complaining about your food, and next person eating a doubles and some, maybe a juice, and next person buy a Concours and a Penny Cool. You don't know what is going on. You all don't know what is going on. Trinidad and Tobago, some people living it up high, and there are people outside there who don't have food to eat, Some people changing cars, right? They changing cars, and it has some people can't even buy a tire. Some people running their vehicles today without insurance. Some people have it real easy, and some people have it real hard. So those of you who have it easy, think about those who have it hard. Give them a break. And the one who have it hard, think about those persons who have none. Think about it like that. Understand the policies. Right? So again, my friends, we continue in our program, and we ask you all to join me at 372-2129. Those of you who are locked on, feel free to call me, and we can identify. Now, I'll tell you something. Government change. Government change. Listen carefully. And we have to be real with this. We can't be jokers. The government has to take a stand and put this thing as legislation. You can't, when the last throws, right? When you know for a fact that there's an election, there should be no new contract. There should be no new contract. That happened in 2010. That happened in 2010, right? When Kamla Prasad Bisasa was in government, 2010 to 2015. And in 2015, maybe 2013, 2014, 2015, people who had 5 years contract, they would go across to the 2 years. If you get a contract in 2013, and that contract valid for 5 years, automatically, your contract run across to 2 years. But again, if that contract was done very, very close to the election time, know that contract is really and truly null and void. I tell you something, I give you an example. I'll give you an example. All those contracts that has close proximity to the election should be null and void. Should be dismantled, dismembered, cut clean out. Because many of those persons, you tell us something, those persons would have been associates and they would have been close knitted with the past government. And basically, you know what? You're not going to get the production that you need. And that goes to the board of directors. Why can't you all understand government change? And now, you know, when the government fired these people from the position because government wants to move on, they want people who will work all hands on deck with them. You can't have people like louse holding you down, like tick on a cowback. While you are trying to make progress for the government, you have people snitching for you. Anybody will tell you this. You have a business. You have a business, right? And that business, you want people who is loyal. Let me give you an example. Let me just give you an example. When I do any interview for workers, right? My job starts from 7 o'clock. But I just normally open the doors like 7:15, 7:20. So my interview is like this. I would tell a person, report for duty tomorrow 7 o'clock. Report for duty tomorrow 7 o'clock. That is the interview itself. But here they will come 7:30, 7:45, and boss, you know, we didn't get a taxi, and this, that, the next, and we have problem with this, and we have, hey, you failed the interview. The interview was to reach on time for your job. That was your interview, and you failed it. No, I have to be lenient. If you tell me when you was coming out, there was an accident, or the police give you a ticket, because that happened already. One person was coming to work, and I saw a custom to people lying to me. I asked the person, I say, here what? Just give me a copy of the ticket, I will help you pay the ticket. You hear me good? Hear the forensic in me. I told the person, I said, here what? If you got that ticket coming to work for me, all right, and you got a ticket trying to reach here early, and you got that ticket, here what? I am going to pay half of that ticket. Bring the ticket for me. Bring the ticket for me. Right? Go and bring the ticket for me. Now, you now get a ticket. You go in your car and you can't find the ticket. You go in the car, right? Hear me good? I say, well, go and bring the ticket. I will pay half and you pay the next half, right? Lo and behold, you can't find the ticket. I don't know if I drop it out in an imam. Maybe, I don't know. I feel like I have to go back in the station. You know, that is lie in the beginning. They start a lie. How can you hire people like that? So the very sad thing I'm saying, the government of the day, the prime minister of the country, should fire every one of those people. New board. Why? Because you want production. You don't want people to sit down there and the same lackadaisical attitude that they possess. Right? And now you're finding out. You are finding out, my friends, you are finding out that these very sad people, they went on a spending spree. You are now finding out. Just pull up that video with the activist guy, Mr. Ashmead Ali. I want general public. That is a proper video.
Hey, good morning, General.
Last week I listened to that. Ashmead Ali is making a clarion call
Prime
that I would
Minister's
like.
press conference after the cabinet meeting. And being an accountant and doing auditing work, and also holding a number of directorship positions, and even being a previous member of a state board, you know, with responsibility for auditor, accountant, finance and audit, it's ridiculous, highly inconceivable that some of these business professionals who held positions as chairman in state boards could have been there for so long and not have a single audited financial statement for 5 and 10 years, right? They wouldn't do that in their own business, you know. They wouldn't do that in their own business. But why would they have allowed it to be done in the government's business? A position that they were holding and being paid for and accepted to do the work. It's really, really ridiculous. Madam Prime Minister, if you want somebody to come and clear up all them audited financials and have it done for those 5 and 10 years, I go come and supervise it and get it done for you for free. Hear what I'm telling you. Right? Because I can tell you, when I was on a state board, when the financial year end ended on September the 30th, by December of the same year, I had audited financials prepared, sent to the Ministry of Finance, ready for AGM and ready to be published. So if, in a state board, the chairman and other people who are there, you're not spending your own money to have the auditor done now. You're not spending your own money. The government is paying for the auditors and them that was approved to audit the financial statements. So clearly, you never wanted to have it done because you're not paying from your own pocket. It's time for this nonsense to stop. And even with new appointments, if after the first year, a reasonable time of say 6 months, they have not sent their audited financial statements to the Ministry of Finance, then they need to be removed as well. Don't allow it to carry on. That's simple advice. Clear up the backlog, and those who are getting new appointments, do not allow them to have more than 6 months to have their audited financial statements done from the previous year. I hope this is good advice.
Ashmead Ali. And again, my friends, when we listen to contributions like that, where individuals, now that individual there, for those of you who don't know, he is not really and truly asking for a job. Huh? He's not asking for a job. He's identifying, and when you listen to the contribution that Ashmead is making, he's telling John public outside there that if it happened with the PNM government, and maybe in this first maybe 6 months of this government, and they have not produced very certain accountability, he's saying that to get rid of them too, and that is my call. I've been saying that all the time. You understand? Why do we keep menace? We talk about white collar and blue collar crime, and we talk about criminality. I tell you something, the worst criminals, the worst criminal is those fellas and them who wear, they wear their jacket and tie and they move with briefcase. Those are the worst. I'm not saying everybody, but I'm just saying so, because sometimes a bandit will come and maybe invade your home, take your privacy, take your property and so forth. You know what? Some of the jacket and ties people and these briefcase men, the briefcase carriers, they take everything from you. They take even your senility and they left you senile. They thief your mental faculties. They thief your property, yes, but they leave you on the streets. Ask those people in the road. Ask those people around the savannah. That's my thing, and I love to talk to these fellas, Some of the best conversation that I have had is to have conversation with these people you call vagrants. These people you call street dwellers. Street dwellers. Let me give you an example. What occurred in Felicity. Maybe it is facts or fable, right? I don't know. But I'm just telling you the heights of these people. One of the religious tenets of Hinduism is that after, the lamp out or something like that, after they out light, they don't really want to pay and stuff, because it's something that maybe culturally inclined to certain individuals and their religious belief and their cultural belief or whatever. One of these miscreants, we call them miscreants, the street dwellers, they went to a person and they ask him, well, boss, I come from a pay. And the boss tell him, well, here what? The same boss man who he work for, say, well, boy, I don't pay after lamp light, After the place, after a light lamp, I don't pay, You know what the man tell him? And I want you all to listen. And these are very sad people who you feel dotish. And these are the very sad people you call stupid. And these are the very sad people you castigate and you spit on them. And you don't even watch them because they're not fitting for your eyesight. But what is fitting for your eyesight is what is on Facebook and what is on TikTok. Right? But what I'm saying, he told the boss man, he said, well, boss, here what? I had to get my money, You out the lamp and pay me. Out the lamp and pay me. That is the heights of these people. So don't get tied up with them fellas. These fellas and them who on the streets, why they on the street is because maybe they had a domestic problem. Right? And they went to court. And you know what? The same fella who was behind the desk, end up taking their wife, and you know what? Taking the property too. Take the wife and take the property, and this man end up in the street. Ask these people, find out for your own self. This is no speculation. This is real life thing. This really sometimes happen. Sometimes you go by a lawyer, and they know you having financial problem. We just saying lawyer. I just using that as a reference. And you know what happened? They end up in the street because they have nothing. So Trinidad and Tobago, I am calling on, as the brother Ashmid Ali called on, that an audited financial report should be given. And if they cannot give that, fire them. That's a good grounds for firing. That's number one. And number two, in this new government, this UNC government that is in power now, don't believe that here what. And I heard the Prime Minister saying this, and I know she's going to do it because one time is a joke, but this other time is not a joke. Right? You take my kindness for weakness. She said that. So the point here is that if within 6 months you are instated or you got position as director in a board and you cannot control that board in a manner that you periodically give your financial report when it is due, then you also has to be removed. And that I agree with that individual. That's the reason why I called him up a little while ago, maybe 15 minutes ago, and I said, brother, could I use your video? And he said, go right ahead. So my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, criminal elements in our society, beware. Beware. Sometimes you might get away here in this world, but you're not going to get away in the next world, for sure. You're not going to get away. I want Trinidad and Tobago to look at, for the past month, since the United National Congress came into power, right? We're talking about 175 murder. You seen murder toll 170 there? But nothing could remain stable. Like example, if the murder rate today is 170, guarantee before the day done, before this 24 hours finish, it is going to escalate maybe 3, 4, or 5. And that is the people, the bodies that they found. What about, director, pull up those videos. The one with the burnt bodies. Burnt bodies found. Right, that's number one. A burnt body found in Princestown bushes. Gardener find burnt body in Bonitento? Right. And the fight of his life. Now, I'll tell you something. Trinidad and Tobago, we are seeing these people, you finding charred remains of human being. Now, that didn't happen by guess. No thunder, no lightning, no lightning strike them. That is murder. And that is discarding and getting rid of evidence. Now, when you see 100, for example, on the screen, you are seeing 170% murdered. That is 170% that is identified by the police. But you go in forensic in Port of Spain. You go in forensic right now, there's about 25 to 30 bodies that is not accounted for. Where they can't find the identity of these people. Isn't that classified as murder? You tell me, Trinidad and Tobago, and a lot of things is happening. So we are calling from this program, that Trinidad and Tobago, let's get down. And the criminal elements, report any sighting that you see of notorious people in your community. Call the police. Call the police and let them know what so and so is the case. Let them know what is going on. You know what should be done, Mr. Minister of Homeland Security? Set up some hot numbers. Not only one number, set up some hot numbers. Listen carefully. If you really and truly want to carry down crime in this country, set up some hot numbers, zone it off. We have 6 zones, right? Zone it off and set up maybe a post or a number, a line for Central, a line for Sangre Grande or East or Western Division. Set up lines for that purpose where people are going to call you immediately. Not a jam the line, because when you call the police sometimes 25 people call at the same time. You can't get through. And by the time the police take, get your name and get information and get that the next, something bandit don't do what they have to do and gone. And the hard part about it, Trinidad and Tobago, let's be real, all those cameras that the PNM paid for, those millions and millions of dollars that went into camera and protective measuring purposes for monitoring and surveillance and all these things, them things not working. Because let me tell you something, when you look at a crime committed in San Fernando, and it have 4 routes, and those very 4 routes have camera, and you can't pick them up, then something is wrong with you. Something is wrong with you in this country. So, this game we playing, My friends, this game that we play in this country, when it comes to crime, has to stop. We bring a man, we put a man, Kamala Prasad Bisasa, put an individual with a lot of experience, not a pharmacist to lead the health. Not a pharmacist to lead the health, or not, a desk jockey to lead the protective services. She brought people with experience, and I do hope and pray that they will be given the opportunity to serve the country, and at least we must go a day or two without a human being losing their life. I pray for that every morning. I pray for that when we wake up, my friends, that, we will get a good day today, a blessed day. It wouldn't have no accident, right? It wouldn't have no murder. It wouldn't have no robbery. It wouldn't have any rape in our country. These things I ask for in the morning time. And I tell you something, sometimes I believe my prayer is not being answered, because every single day, 2 and 3 by the group, 3 and 4 people dying, they are being killed, like the bandits in this country, they get freedom. Nobody said, I imagine this. Imagine this. I saw a post where the president of Venezuela, Maduro, saying that from our country, terrorists maybe entered Venezuela. You all saw that? You all saw that? Those of you who see it, maybe you could identify and let, you understand? People say they can't even trust the police, right? They can't even trust the police. I mean, not all of them bad, eh? Not all of them bad. I tell you something, I am acquainted, I know something, eh? As you talk about police there, John Mahabir, I just want to send out a SOS to all the police officers who owe me via taking materials in my business, right? Try to see if I could come up and pay me my money, please. I just give a little sound and a little siren for all you. Those of you who owe in the hardware, not me personally, but the hardware, come up and pay your bills. That's all. We're continuing. So, Director, let's take a break. And when we come back, we're going to continue on our program here.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are, of course, the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakandi Road, Felicity, Shogunas.
Okay, my friends, pleasant good afternoon, Trinidad and Tobago, and those of you who are locked on, those of you who are abroad, maybe in North America, South America, whether you're in the Caribbean islands, wherever you may be, Ummat TNT congratulates the Honorable Prime Minister, the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisasa, on winning the People's Choice Caribbean Global Award, Leaders Award 2025. All right, so we congratulate the Prime Minister. Again, for those of you who are locked on, the IFST, Islamic Fidelity Services Trust Eid Dinner on the 22nd of June at 3 p.m. Don't miss it. Tickets still available. You can come join us. You can bring your families. We have sent out invitation to certain individuals in our community, and we do hope and pray that they will respond. If they can make it, feel free to come, because this program really and truly is going to be initiated, and it's going to be part of our arrival day program, right? So we're going to have a kind of a collusion, Eid program, inclusive of a cultural part of our program, whereby we're going to identify some of the cultures that is prevailing in our country, Trinidad and Tobago. And there's no other person who can do that better than anybody in Trinidad and Tobago other than Mr. Harun Ali and his team. And again, I want to just say a special big up and highlight our dear brother Afzal from the Princestown Jamaat. Normally he would include in that program, he would do a kind of cultural part where children will come up and they will recite some Quran, some will sing a qasida, some will even give a joke. Because all those things really and truly, it is a part of our culture, it is part of our daily routine, right? So we invite those persons who didn't purchase a ticket. The tickets is 4 tickets for 500. Originally would have been 150, but after discussion, people have been asking, can we get a little discount? We have a family of 4. We said, okay, no problem. You're going to have 4 tickets for $500, right? That is 125. I'll tell you something. There's no monies to be made in that. Those of you who are watching on, let me just emphasize something here before we move on. The menu would be curry goat. The menu would be stew chicken, potato, mango, salad, rice, roti, soft drink, cake, ice cream, and snacks. You tell me if we're going to make anything on that. So basically, we are giving back to our community. A Eid dinner like that costs normally $200, $250. We are doing it for half the price, and the IFSC, they are taking a part of the responsibility in preparation for this event that is coming up on the 22nd of June, starting time 3 p.m. Those of you who would like to come, please call me as soon as possible so that I can book your space, I can book your chair. Like one guy called me, I say, Imam, I want a nice place to sit down. No problem. No problem. You purchase ticket in the beginning, so you're going to get table 1. Table 1 is right in front of the stage. Right? So again, my friends, those of you who are locked on, the IFSC Islamic Fidelity Services Trust, we are hosting Arrival Day Eid dinner on the 22nd of June, starting time 3 p.m. at the Rashid Avenue complex in Felicity. You can come, you can join me, fully air-conditioned, secured parking, and it's really and truly a couple of hours that you're going to spend. You will not really and truly lose anything. You're going to gain everything, right? So we're going to continue on our program. We're talking about, this is the venue. This is the venue there. That is the ambience, and that ambience is being given free of charge by the management of the complex, right? So basically that is the reason why you're getting that ticket for half the price. So Trinidad and Tobago, again, this is your program Hardfacts that is aired on Sentinel Media Broadcasting. I want to invite all of those persons who are, when they told me 2 people will come for you, I didn't want to get me something else. John Mahabi. Okay. So my friends, again, those of you who are locked on, is very, very important, right? That we support the government. The government of the day, knowing for a fact that the PNM was in office for 10 years, 2 terms, right? And the United National Congress at this point in time have now embarked on a new journey. Let's give them a little period of time, really and truly, to get their act together, finding out where they're going to get finance from and how they're going to do it. Because basically, I have already won. I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago. I have already won. Knowing for a fact that the property tax have been dismembered, has been repealed, that is sufficient for me. Why I say that? Because there was one lady, and I go repeat that every week. There was one lady, an old lady, 64 years old. Right? The lady is a sickly lady. And she paid down to change her roof. And when Colum Imbo, the Minister of Finance, right, threatened her and threatened the country that if you all don't pay up your property tax, chances are we are going to seize your property. And that lady was an old lady. She was scared out of her wits. And she called me and she said, Imam, I really and truly had to cancel the order, you know. I said, what happened, ma'am? And she said, look, son, I said, getting a better price? She said, no, you had the best price. What are changing it for is because the government threatening to, if we don't pay the property tax, they're going to take we house, and it's me and my husband and my 2 children and my grandchildren here, and one of my sons sickly. And when she went down that road, boy, I feel so sorry. I give her back her money. I said, Auntie, you don't worry, we go try to help you. I said, Auntie, we go try to help you. And we in that phase right now. We in that phase right now, assisting. Right? So, and the hard part about it? Tell you the hard part, the lady pays she money, The lady went and pays she property tax, boy. And there's a little debate going on right now with the Honorable Kamala Prasad Bisesa and the Minister of Finance, where there's a slight discrepancy when it comes to communication and so forth. But when we heard Colm Imbert saying that money went in a consolidated funding, a consolidated fund, I believe that consolidated fund could be retrieved, the money could be retrieved, and people can receive back their money, namely that person who, in that condition that I told you about, and persons who are in similar position like that. So we're just talking here, we're just discussing Trinidad and Tobago. This is our program where we come here live. I have no script here. We have no script here. It's a blank paper. We're just talking and we debating, because I tell you something, Trinidad and Tobago, we have a lot of problems. We had that problem in the past, right? We had that problem for the past 10 years. All the bad road. I remember the Prime Minister say, hey, and you know something, I used to laugh, I used to laugh, boy. And I say, look, these people could lie so blatant, boy. Take a drive down from San Fernando to North Coast and take a drive from there and you go enjoy yourself. Which part, boy? And in this same very show, I said, wait, this man talking about Mars, he talking about a different planet. He's not talking about Trinidad and Tobago. We have the worst road. We have the worst road in the country, and we have a God-given asset, which is our pitch lake. And they sell it out. They sell out the pitch lake. Whoever sell out the pitch lake, you all should, I don't want to curse you all now. I don't want to use that kind of derogative. But I tell you something, you all are the people I'm speaking about who are the jacket and tie bandits. You all take the assets of the poor people in our country. Long time, right? You could have take a truck and you could have go down and buy some oil sand. And you could come home and do some repairs. You can't do that again. Oil sand more expensive than anything. Because you know why? Because that has been taken away. The God-given assets of our country has been taken away from us. You ought to go and buy this thing. And you know the painful thing about it, when you look at television and you look at roads in other countries that has benefited from our asphalt and our pitch lake, right? They're driving a nice smooth road. And we here, we can't even get stone. We have stone, right? We have a lot of mountains. We have stone. And we can't even crush those stone and build our own roads. Why? Because you know something? Everybody fighting board position. Give me a board position all year. All year I want a board position. I work for all year. That is what people are saying. They're demanding board position. They're demanding to go in boards, to go and sit down, right? And steal money. And the people of this country will never get anything out of it. So Kamala Prasad Bisesa, the Honorable Prime Minister, we have men like Ashmead Ali. Use them as accountant police. Use them as accountant police. The guy doesn't want any money from you all. He don't want any remuneration. Maybe you could give him a menu or something. He's going to do something, ensure that, he have a proper meal to eat and maybe something like that. That's all. Maybe he would like some refreshments or something like that. And he's going to run through that books. And he's going to pull through and show you the anomalies. He's a certified chartered accountant. Right? How do you know people are successful? You know how? Tell me how. A successful one in this world. We're talking about not in religion, because we know exactly who is successful when it comes to religion. But we're talking about successful people in the world. A man driving a Mercedes Benz, is he successful? Huh? A man living in a big mansion, is he successful? A man changing 5 different suits for the week, is he successful? And the question will be answered, my friends, is that individual, what have he given back to the society that he is residing in? Yeah? What has he given back? That's the point here. What is it that you're going to give back to the country? What is it that you're going to do? All right, Kamala Prasad Bisesa give you a director position. That is not your father money. That is not your assets. That is not your inheritance. You have to ensure now, right? Because you already realize that you were 10 years out of government, and you look at the bad spending and the kind of, the kind of shortcomings when it comes to accountability and all these things. You think in your own mind that you want to run in there, sit down in a board, control the board for 5 years again, and then what? You leave the country in a state worse than when we meet it? Huh? You tell me, because I tell you something. When PNM took over office, I remember this. For the whole 10 years, up to the time when they lost election, Kamala thief out the money. The UNC thief out the money. That was the cry, the hue and cry of the PNM for the past 10 years, and people believed them. People believed them, and that's the reason why they had a resounding victory for the first 5 years. But people get smart. You cannot blame a government 10 years for your misdemeanor and your failure. You're not going to get away with it. Maybe you could tell a lie today, you could tell a lie tomorrow, but 3, 4, 5 lies, people go feel you out. They go know you're lying. Like the guy with the gas, the fella with the gas bottle on the highway. You all remember him? Every week he break down. Brother, you can help me. My car break down and me have no money to buy gas. You remember that fella? You know how much money he con people? And next one on the highway again down the road there, he have a dislocated shoulder. Right? He dislocated his shoulder. He was in San Juan. He moved. He gone so. You go fool some people some of the time. But you cannot fool all the people all the time. People will see straight through you. People will see straight through you. So my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, it's about time I shut my mouth. It's about time I can tell you something. I could really go on and on. But I just want to recap a few things for those of you who now join in the program. The Commissioner of Police, right, and Homeland Security Minister. Pull up that video, Director. We just summarizing and closing of our program, where they were saying that the TTPS, the Trinidad and Tobago Police Service, launches. That launches is a present tense, which means that they already did it. Launches probe into cartel US $950,000 payment. Right? I want to ask you all, when was the last time you take a vacation and you get 500 US from the bank? 95%, and let me be real and honest here, 95% of the people who traveling, they pay in black market $7.50 or $8 per US dollar. These past ministers, them tell you there's a charge. If they find you, them could get any amount of US they want. Them have a platinum card, they have a black card, they have a blue card, they have a red card, they have a gold card, they have a silver card, all the card in the world. But you as an individual, you can buy 5,000 or 500 US from your own sons and daughters. When they come to Trinidad, you can buy that from them. Huh? What madness is this? They will come in your house. They will come in your house and ask your son, hey, why you sell your father $5,000 for? And how much you sell him for? They're so ridiculous. But you see, what good for the goose is not good for the gander. And that is the policy that they were using. They were usurping the privilege and the rights of citizens, and people were staying quiet. That is the reason why you want more people like me. And I tell you something, this is no bacchanal program. I am not, if I have to go in a bacchanal program and bad talk this one, bad talk the mayor Shogunas, and bad talk the minister there, and bad talk that one, I'm not going to do that. If you are in a position and you're not doing what you're supposed to be doing, I am going to highlight it, whether you're vexed or you don't vex. Right? That's it. I only highlight any problem. When I finish, I will tell you I love you. The reason why I'm doing this, I don't want you to do something wrong and has to pay for it later on in the next life. So I correcting you now. That is the program. This is what we are all about. Right? Again, Trinidad and Tobago, those of you who are locked on, please join me on Saturday. I want some callers to really and truly call. And let me know if the phone line is not working. Because 3 or 4 people told me a while ago, before the program here, Imam, I want to call you show, I want to call, I want you to answer. I say, okay, no problem, 372-2129. That's the number you can call. Identify what is taking place. What you have to afraid, boss? The criminal elements have already raped the country when it comes to crime. Right? And you look at past situations where billions, not million, hey, a million is 6 zeros, A billion is how much zeros? And how much is a trillion? How much zeros? Think about that. They say zero has no value. Zero has the most value. If a man asks you, hey, which is the highest valued number in the numerical order, what you go tell them? 9. And you go tell them 9? A lot of people like you. In the beginning, I used to say 9. So don't feel you are alone there. The most valuable number in the numerical order system, in number system, is 0, boss. You understand? You have 2 0, you put a 0, it become what? It become 1,000. You put another 0, it become 100,000. If you put a 9, it is changing that. What changes it? A 0. So my friends, Trinidad and Tobago, I want to thank you all very, very much. May God Almighty bless. All right, I would just want to read something. Where they find the millions. Okay, where they find the millions to pay people, we can, oh God, Lord have mercy. Check like you're now joining. Check like you're now joining the program. No problem, I will just identify again. That is the same question we asking. I asking that same question here. And for Saturday, I want you to call. Call 372-2129. We're going to identify where they get that money from. The police, by that time, they should get some information. If monies were paid, where did they get the money from? You had to check the banking. That money can't go in a briefcase. I doubt it's going in a briefcase. And if it go in a briefcase, it had to be scanned. I don't think it's a private. All the private jets have to be scanned. So somewhere down the line, that has to be a money wire transfer. And that transfer has to take place. You know something? Trinidad and Tobago, have you not ever thought about this? It's only when you go in the bank, they want to find out everything. I wonder if they do that for everybody else. You don't find sometimes that they kind of taking advantage of you. You had to go in the bank, right? And you had to sit down and wait. And when you go quite up in line, after 10, 15 people, you're missing one thing. You had to come back out and go. Then you had to meet by the gate. You had to tell the security, well, look, I'm going in my car to collect this. And then when you come back, you had to tell you the very said thing. And then you had to go inside there. Oh, Lord have mercy. Sometimes I just feel that people being discriminated. Now, the person is asking a very good question. When we catch in with Royal Nenen, you know what's your Royal Nenen? Trinidad and Tobago, do you all know what is your Royal Nenen? I'll tell you that privately. Call me. Now, what I want to say, you catching your Royal Nenen to get 200 and 300 US in the bank. In Republic, in Scotia. You go. You think I lying? You think I fibbing here? Go in the bank tomorrow. And here I tell them I want to get 500 US dollars. I take a trip. You know what they want? They want the date you're traveling. Now if you're traveling end of the month, you can't get that money this week, you know. You have to come back the last day of traveling. And chances are when you go the last day, they tell you come back tomorrow morning. If they know that you're flying in the evening, come back in the morning. That is what I'm talking about. You call the station and tell me, well, what you're saying is the truth or what you're saying is false. People want to hear that. People want to know that I went in the Shoguna's Health Center and I was taken care of really and truly. Identify the nurse, identify the doctor. A police, delivered 2 babies, put them up. Somebody do something, put them up. Identify, people need their ego to be lifted a bit. Not all the time you press it down, or the police this, and the police that, and the police is a thief, and the police running the drug block, and the police doing this, and the police is the biggest criminal. Stop saying that. Call the station. When you see police doing good things, you have to praise them too. Not only hear that one say, you know the police have a drug block. You have evidence that the police have a drug block. You have evidence that the police commit the crime. You have evidence. You don't have it, but you're speculating. The police this and the police that, and the police this and the police that. Stop doing that. That is the reason why we're in this condition, Trinidad and Tobago. Nobody verifying anything. Nobody verifying anything. Everybody speculating. This, that, the next. The price will go up for Christmas. For fish, right? Let me tell you something. Easter, everybody just eat the dasheen and the vegetables and fish. Right? Because of the domestic use, you're going to realize that the fish price will go up for that 1 week. But then 1 week after, when the fish price selling, hear me good, when the fish price selling, the same fish you pay $25 a pound for, selling $3 a pound this week, next week, you won't come and say, well, them fishermen can't pay for gas. You don't say that, eh? At Trinidad and Tobago, you don't say that. It's only when it's against you, you could see it. When it's against somebody else, you can't see it. You're blind. Yeah, I tell you last week again, when tomatoes is $20 a pound, right? $20 a pound, buy 1 pound. When it's $3 a pound, buy 10 pound. Eat plenty tomatoes. Now it's mango season. Eat plenty mango. Don't study apple and grapes. Eat plenty mango. Because when mango season finish, you're not going to get no mango. Again, mango free now. In Felicity here, down by Dwarika here, he put a table in front. The man put a table in front. He put the mango in front there. When you all come, take 2, 3 and go. Right? Don't select like you're buying it. You're going to select this one and put down that one. No. A man giving you something free. Just take 3, take a bag, take 3, 4 and you go your way. That's what I'm telling you. People so in this country are accustomed. You're getting it free and you're still saying the price high. Premchand Baldev, I remember you there. My friend Premchand Baldev. Right? You're getting it free. Right? And you're still saying the price high. So my friend, those of you who are locked on, may God Almighty bless you all. May God Almighty keep you all safe. Thank you all very much for viewing our program. Join us. Participate in our program. Share the video. Subscribe to the channel. And anybody outside there, giving an extended invitation. Anybody wants to come next to me and sit down and be a co-host or a guest to this program for a period of time, feel free to call me and let's identify. Because my whole intention is how we can lift this country, how we can better our country, how we can develop our country, and how we can make our country a light, a beacon of hope for our younger children in Trinidad and Tobago. I thank you, and may God Almighty bless you. Until Saturday, Imam Rashid Karim signing off.
Welcome to Island Express Hardware, where we work with your budget. We supply all paints, all brands, and all sizes. And we are of course the cheapest in Trinidad. We also supply pumps and water tanks, and we also have them in combo deals. Visit us for the best friendly customer service. Need steel, beams, and purlins? We got that. We have top quality lats and boxing board, plyboards, gypsum boards, you name it. Do you love to fish? Have no fear, cause we have all the gears. Visit Island Express Hardware today, located at Rashid Avenue, Kakani Road, Felicity, Shogunas.